Founder and president of ActionSA, Herman Mashaba, good to be talking with you. It was sparked by my interview yesterday with Helen Zille, but let's start at a place that will put a real smile on your face and everyone who supports ActionSA. Your by-election win in the Northwest Province. We haven't spoken for a while, and certainly we haven't spoken since that. Is that your very first by-election win?
Yes, it is, and a historic one for that matter. Rural, the Northwest, 40 Ks out of Ziras towards Botswana. This is a ward and a municipality run 80% by the ANC for the last 31 years. And remember, the beginning of this year, announced to South Africans about the Green Umbrella project I embarked upon. And in this municipality, actually acquired, in business terms, acquired 5 grade the PR councillors. And this was our first time to contest. Now, Alec, are you aware now, ActionSA is the official opposition in this municipality. We dropped ANC's position from 22 to 21 councillors, followed by us with 6 councillors, EFF as state. There used to be 5 ActionSA and EFF. Now that 6, we are the official opposition. But the beauty about this and the significance of this win, Alec, is the power of voting. I think for us, as ActionSA has given us such a great platform to demonstrate to non-voting South Africans that each vote counts, because we beat the ANC from 80%, we beat them by 2 votes. By 2 votes. and you look at all the other parties, I mean, honestly, you've got to get the microscope to find them. And it was really basically the battle between the ANC and us. We beat them by 2 votes, and they tied for 4 hours asking for recount, looking for 2 votes. They couldn't find them anywhere. And on the day of the by-election, they deployed from the premier, all the mayors of North and of Northwest, including using blue lights to take people to the voting station. But we still beat them, and would beat them with 2 votes. I think for me, the significance of this, obviously, it has triggered us. We're putting together now a massive voter registration campaign to demonstrate to those South Africans who feels right now that my 1 vote doesn't count. This is a classical case of how 1 vote can topple a government, and that's exactly what people do. I mean, you topple a government that was at an 80% majority. First time to be toppled and be toppled by 2 votes. So you'll see shortly, my team is working on a massive campaign to really get particularly the black voters to see the power of their vote.
Robertson, a small town in the middle of nowhere where a wine farmer claims to have sold a Volkswagen up to WeBuyCars. A farmer. What car did you really sell them?
A VW up.
Right here in Robertson.
Small town, but we know about WeBuyCars.
Yeah, but what's a farmer doing with a VW up?
It was just a runaround.
Cool cover story. And I see you traded it in for this, like a double cab veneer. Were they all out of ranges?
WeBuyCars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
But it is an interesting part of your long-term strategy where you have been saying for a long time, no one kind of got it, that you can win in the rural areas and that the ANC is ripe to be taken. So I guess this is one step in that direction. And if you can get 10% plus in the rural areas in the next election, it's going to make a big difference to ActionSA.
Yeah, Alec, admitted immediately, even before the IEC declared the election, I went to their center in Midrand and admitted that, I think I made a mistake by allowing my team to push us to go and contest all 9 provinces. I mean, we We are now a 4 or 5-year-old party. At the time, we were 3.5-year-old party with all the money in the world, to put structures in all 9 provinces in a matter of 1.5 years. I think it was unreasonable, and I think we admit it. And it is for that reason. I don't know if you are aware. We've now made a commitment. Actually, on the 7th of July this year, we went on a 3-day strat session at Senate, and we've taken a decision. We've identified between 30 and 40 municipalities to contest, nothing more. And I can assure you what we did is that we categorized these municipalities into 3 categories. And the number 1 category are those that we are definitely going to contest. For an example, Johannesburg, Thulani, Ekurhuleni, they are in category 1. These are municipalities we are going to contest. And category 2 are those who've got a 50% chance of meeting our KPIs. And category 3, they've got 75%. So they've got a long way to go. So I can only see some, actually not even half of them actually meeting our requirements in terms of qualifying for us beforehand to contest the by-election. The upcoming local government elections. Why this strategy, Alec? You remember in 2021 what we did by focusing my energies. Remember, even in 2021, I only wanted to contest the 3 municipalities, but eventually, sometimes I listen even when I don't agree. But I listen. We contested 6 municipalities, but we did very well. So this time around, I'm making it clear, guys. Here are the KPIs. If you want to contest the municipality, you have to convince us that no one will govern without us. Because the municipalities under category A are municipalities where no one is going to govern without us. We put in the best teams. We put in the right strategies. We put in the right leadership to lead these municipalities. And I'm so pleased now with what Dr. Moya is doing in Thulani. Amazing. Last year, this time, who knew who Dr. Nasiphi Moya was? Today, she's a household name. And you're aware, a few weeks ago, I announced Thulani Khumalo, someone that I used to admire at a distance. And a few months ago, requested a meeting with me. And I accepted because I just liked the guy. I didn't know, I'd never met him before. Spent an hour with him, and he was looking for funding for his foundation. But something said to me, this guy's heart is in the right place, fighting these drug dealers, and he hated them. He was doing this out of love and the damage drug dealers and criminals are doing. So, in our discussion, something came to me, says, don't make the decision right now and don't make your proposal right now. I requested to meet him in a month's time. I said, let's meet in a month's time. When he came the next time, probably I was expecting to get money from me. Then I said, no, Thulani, you know what? The work that you are doing, absolutely incredible. Admire. That's why South Africans love you. They don't like you. But unfortunately, this is not sustainable. You work in an environment of a compromised criminal justice system. You are going to obviously put a spotlight on these criminals, but they will get away with it because our politicians are corrupt and they're part of this syndicate. I think, you know what, as far as I'm concerned, God has got a bigger purpose for you. Go, why don't you come from Tembisa? People of Tembisa love you. Why don't you become our mayoral candidate for Ekurhuleni? With you as a mayoral candidate and with what people of Tembisa, Katlehong, and everywhere else know what you are doing, there's just no way you're not going to be the next mayor. Then being the mayor, then you can put your own team, including the MMC of public safety. You can do this in a manner that is sustainable. Few years down the line, you become the premier, and one day before you reach 50, chances of you becoming a president of this country are high, as long as you maintain the kind of passion and commitment to South Africa. And obviously took him by surprise. Luckily, his wife was there, And they thought about it and just give us time, let's caucus. And what I presented to them was really just compelling, and it was the truth. I said, you know what, we respect you. There's a reason why we came to you. We've obviously followed you all our lives. Our parents have always, as growing up, have always spoken so highly of you. And yes, and we don't want to give up on exposing and allow and tolerating these criminals in our country. Obviously, everything else is history. Actually, at 10 o'clock when I leave now, I'm meeting with the team from Ekurhuleni, from the province, and I'm leading national, where there's a by-election on the 10th of December in Ekurhuleni, in Etwatwa. So this is going to be the first by-election we're going to contest. So there we're going to be presenting our plan of contesting. Obviously, we've already made a commitment. We are going to contest for the first time in Ekurhuleni municipality. And with Thulani in leading this campaign, I cannot see how, as far as I'm concerned, that by-election, it's already in the back. I cannot see any other party that would really be able to compete with us.
We're certainly going to be watching that, because by-elections do get tended nowadays to be won by the best candidate rather than necessarily the best party. And bringing in the best candidate for Ekurhuleni for your 2026 election is an interesting move. What about Joburg, though? Yesterday, I spoke with Helen Zille. She's she's fairly confident. Who's your mayoral candidate there?
Alec, Thulani, why we had to announce him before we were ready with the others. We're still running internal processes, but Thulani was a big fish, and I decided I've got to lock him in, So I don't want to really take chances, and it took the country by storm. I mean, it's going to every Shebeen, going to every Chisanyama, not only in Ekurhuleni, go to Be Nice now in the townships or there, Kwamashu. Everyone is actually talking about Thulani now moving into the political space. So I had to announce him as soon as possible, because I didn't want him to change his mind and someone else go and give him a bigger proposal. And Joburg, Tshwane, to just watch the space, we're still going through our own processes. My own personal preference, because of my age, Alec, as you're aware, I'm 66. I don't think I have age on my side. I said to the party, as much as I'm under pressure from internal structures, from civil society, everyone I meet, they don't want me to stand, because every time I tell them I'm old, they tell me about other people. I said, I'm not other people. I'm Herman Mashaba, and I said, please give me a chance. When I proposed Nasiphi Moya to you guys last year, in fact, even some of party leadership didn't really believe me that my move was the right one. Today, they can see Nasiphi is a household name. Obviously, Thulani was unquestionable. I mean, he's known and loved by everyone. So I said, in the event I don't find another Nasiphi or Thulani, I'm happy, because Johannesburg, it's really critical. I don't really believe there's any mayor in this country that knows that city better than I do, from a governance point of view, from turning it around. You remember when I took over in 2016, at the time I didn't even have a clue whatsoever what the mayor does. And I was facing a very, very hostile ANC at the time that was determined to collapse my administration, unleashed every available propaganda and tactic to collapse my government. Fortunate enough, I was born and raised in tough environment. I stood my ground. And also, Alec, the other challenge I faced at the time, the party I was representing at the time did not really give me the necessary support, because they did not agree with some of the tough stance I took. And I took them anyway, because every time they come and tell me I cannot do something, I'll say to them, go and make it your policy, because I run a multi-party government. I did not leave my business to serve political interest. I'm here to serve society. So whereas with let's say Thulani as an example in Ikuruleni, he's got my full support. We share the same values. We share the same concerns about the future of our country. We are concerned about this illegal immigrants causing havoc in our communities. We are concerned about the future of our youth being destroyed by drug syndicates. We're concerned about the level of corruption by ANC robbing our communities of their future. We have municipalities dominated by cadres. I remember in the 3 years firing 600 senior people just in the city of Johannesburg, 35 billion rands of fraud and corruption. And that's something, Alec, that makes me really upset sometimes with the media, which I have lots of respect for you guys in the media space. You remember when I was the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, in 3 years, 35 billion rands. Right now, we're talking about 2 billion in Tembisa, which is obviously it's a lot of money. But 35 billion rands of fraud and corruption cases, which I used to report on a monthly basis, taking the citizens into confidence, including some of those cases clear as daylight. For an example, just to give you an example of a clear case of this land at Senten Station, gifted to a Gupta-linked company. No payment ever made, including being given the rights to have access to cities' services without paying for it. And when this matter came to my attention, I raised it. We prepared the report. Even up to today, the National Prosecuting Authority is not saying anything about it. But obviously, for you guys as a media, I'm challenging you openly. Let's be fair as South Africans. Why have we now all of a sudden, ever since I left, no one has ever raised this issue of what happened to that 35 billion rands of fraud and corruption?
Good point.
Another example, Alec, I can give you. You remember when I left the city of Johannesburg, I had already expropriated, using the current laws, expropriated 154 buildings, giving them to the private sector through council, not through dark rooms, whatever. The private sector was going, we were subscribed on those 154 buildings. Some of them, by the time I left, I had already did the sorting, because they were already awarded to the tune of 32 billion rands of investment to create 22,000 permanent jobs during the construction site. In the history of South Africa, those 154 properties were going to create 14,000 housing opportunities, and 30% of them were for low-cost housing. Already signed deal passed through council, and then obviously dark forces came and planned my exit. But what I'm finding strange is now why all of a sudden we quiet the new stars that can fix this city. I find it really quite bizarre, and I'm saying to myself, as a business person, to say, but is this all politics all about? Because I expected us as South Africans who are concerned about this country to always look at things in the same eye. We might obviously differ from time to time, but not on issues that I've just raised with you. How can we just all of a sudden forget about such? I've just given you 3 examples, and I can give you more.
Herman, it's quite clear that your passion is strong. You might be telling your colleagues that you're not wanting to stand as mayor, but I can see that a Mashaba versus Zille showdown in Joburg is on the cards. It's on the horizon. She reckons your veneer. She says your veneer is fading. She says that you're being exposed. I'd love to know what you think about her candidacy and whether or not you can take her.
Well, I think, Alec, for me, it's interesting. Please look at the 2 by-elections in Soweto. ever since she was announced in Soweto. Please, the one was a month ago, the other one just 2 weeks ago. Please to look at if you can ever find DA.
Well, tell us. You obviously know that what went on there.
No, look, this is not an academic exercise. This is not something that's coming from me. I'm saying, please go into the IEC site, go and look at the performance of ActionSA. What I think for me is exciting about this is that remember in 2021 how we performed. Now in this by-elections, because of my disassociation with the DA, ActionSA is now beating our 2021 results. We have we annihilating MK because we lost Soweto votes because of our association. That MPC was a bad idea, and my guys know it. I was against it, but I needed to really be a Democrat. And I think people now being aware that ActionSA knows not a subdivision of the DA. We are beating our 2021 results. So that is, and that is not really for me. But those are results of the voters, and I'm putting together a very strong team. We're going to be focused this year, and no one is going to govern Johannesburg without us. In fact, we're working towards ensuring that ActionSA emerges as the biggest party in the city of Johannesburg.
It's a very interesting state that we're at in our politics in South Africa, and in particular in Johannesburg. Your 44 seats are critical. Are you, well, maybe put it differently, what's your relationship with the current governors of Joburg? Because they are going to be punished. There's no question that they're going to be punished by the electorate. Now, and what I'd like to know is, are they going to come to you, or are they going to go to the DA? That's kind of, or MK, where they're going to take their votes. And a lot of it will depend on where you are, what relationship you have with them.
Well, that is why, Alec, it's really very important that I'm going to put as much resources as possible, more especially in Johannesburg, to ensure that we're the ones that must determine the outcome of governance in the city of Johannesburg, because obviously the scenario you are painting, it is real. Unfortunately, I'm not an analyst, and because analysts are easy to say anything, there are no consequences. But it is real that if I look at the current governance structures of the ANC and our coalition partners, total disaster. When I took a decision last August to remove Celia Brink in Thulani after being abused, and I've really felt abused that my body couldn't take the abuse any longer. And fortunate enough, my numbers in Thulani are such that the ANC and EFF grouping and DA and Freedom Fund grouping, none of them can form a government without me, unless they can agree to work together. And I think this is most unlikely in this region. So that's why when I couldn't take the abuse any longer of Celia Brink, and I said, guys, I'm out. And I said, I will approach the ANC and the EFF on condition that I take the mayorship, or otherwise then the city must go under administration. I was in a very powerful position. So luckily, they accepted my proposal, and I gave them the best mayor ever. You look at how they work. I think they work the way I ran the multi-party coalition, because I really made it shortly to the mayor. I said, Mayor, don't take any single report to council without going through all our coalition partners. Whether it's one vote or whatever, show respect. You might agree, sometimes you might not agree. It doesn't matter, as long as there are not really major issues. But don't disrespect that your coalition partners see a report in council for the first time. I said, that's one mistake you can make. And I'm glad she's operating in that fashion. And I gave examples of myself to say, when I was the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, my party when I relied on 30 councillors from the EFF, of which I could not do anything without, they were against me sharing reports with the EFF before being presented to council. I mean, you've got to be mad to even think about this. I mean, what type of disrespect can this be? And obviously, because of my being a cheeky black, then they decided to come out with a campaign to call me an EFF mayor. And please ask any one of the DA who was in FedEx at the time, how many times I requested for that intervention, including the secret meetings. I brought it to the attention of, before I went public, I brought it to the attention of FedEx that, guys, there are secret meetings being held with the ANC to have a motion of no confidence. And these people are working with some of my councillors. And unfortunately, the ANC, the DA at the time under Musi, my mind, I don't know, they wanted God to sort out this matter. That's when I realized I'm not prepared to compromise myself, and I'm not going to be embarrassed to face a motion of no confidence. So that's when I came out to say, look, if Helen Zille comes back, I'm out, because I honestly, Alec, and I'm not apologizing to anyone about it, I would not want to be associated with someone like Helen. I think her upbringing and mine, our personal experiences are so fundamentally different, and I don't know how we can ever reconcile, because as far as I'm concerned, when she sees me, and I said this many times, when Helen sees me, I'm 66, she sees a boy. She doesn't see a man, you know. She's under impression whatever she does for black people, she's doing us a favor, you know, and that's her upbringing. I can't really help it. So
that's your perception, and I think that it's your perception, and perception is reality in the eyes of the beholder. But more important, she said that you worked with the EFF. You put the EFF's guy in charge at City Power. What is your side to that allegation?
My goodness, you know, Alec, I'm on record, and I'm prepared to take anything under oath, even with the highest court in the land. In the 3 years I was the mayor, EFF never came to me to discuss a tender, because I'm sure they knew me. Never. But I can't say the same about the DA. You remember when I was the mayor, I fired 3 DA MMCs, members of the state, for corruption. And in each case, every time before I fired those people, there was a huge debate, the party not feeling comfortable about it. And I made it really very clear that this is not a party matter. I wasn't bringing this for you for approval. I was bringing this as a respect for Noti. But yes, unless you can tell me these reports are not genuine, you know. So, and to make matters worse, Alec, all 3 of them, after I fired them as MMCs, the party did not fire them as councillors, even with all the evidence that I. And those are the people who obviously Helen had them on their side, including Helen and the IRR getting into our WhatsApp group, or caucus WhatsApp group. It's a confidential thing, and it's a DA party thing that as caucus you have your own confidential things where you can debate and whatever, you know, like grown-up people in a board, whatever, you know. So Helen, at the time working for the IRR, discovered when I released, I exposed the secret meetings. Them and the IRR made a fundamental mistake, sharing some of my utterances, calling some of the people who were against me providing services, toilets, portable toilets to people who've not had toilets from the ANC for 15 years. And I'll call them. I said, honestly, guys, you cannot tell me this is not a racial basis, you know. And obviously, I think Helen and RR made a mistake to show the screen of saying to this councillors so that, as far as I'm concerned, with the life I come from, you are racist because here are people, we're government, we're not a political party, we are government and multi-party one for that matter. For you to refuse, you're not happy with me, you're telling me I'm taking your residents' money to provide services to people who don't pay taxes and then vote for the DA. I think it's a deep insult. So they made a mistake to share this. This shows you the extent of the road that was happening. And but look, at the end of the day, I'm prepared to move forward, and I'll work in terms of after the elections, depending on the outcome. We will decide then who to work with. At the moment, I don't want to be tainted by being associated with any party. We've now cut our relationship with the ANC in Johannesburg because they thought we will become their voting cattle. And we demonstrated to them from day one when they brought things which were unreasonable without even consulting us. We'll go to council and we vote against it. Then they've removed our speaker, which I think for me was a blessing because then I don't carry the ANC baggage in the city of in the city of Johannesburg.
Well, we look forward to your final decision on whether or not you're going to be the mayoral candidate. I think that's going to give the media lots of excitement should you decide to go that way. And should you decide not to, then it'll be very interesting to see who you select. Herman Mashaba is the... Mm-hmm.
I will only obviously take that decision in the event I don't find another Nasiphi, I don't find another Thulani, and they're very difficult to find. So yeah, I'm open. I think I've said to the party, and I'm saying to you in South Africa that in the event I stand, I'm asking residents to please allow me only one term. This job is it's brutal, Alec. It's not a job for old people. Honestly, it's brutal. In a country where we've got the youth with such energy, with such enthusiasm, with such good determination, I believe in. If ever I serve, I'm saying, please let me serve for 1 year, but I'm happy immediately to surround myself with the youngsters that must take over after I serve 1 year. Because this time around, you can imagine I'm coming out with experience. I don't come around blank as I was in 2016. I know people are fired who are back in the city. I can tell you, as soon as the results come out and realize that ActionSA is going to be in power, I will call out the names of people who are in government as technocrats. I will tell them to start running before I come after them, because they were brought back after I left. Last time I didn't know I had to go through rigorous processes. This time I'm going to be brutal because I don't have time on my side. I'll have 5 years to govern. And the only way I can save the residents of Johannesburg, I've got to get rid of cadres and put in professional people to run the city. Those who think that they can play games with me, they tried the last time. This time, I'm coming back with experience.
Sounds a bit like Donald Trump. I know your policies and his policies are worlds apart, but that's what he did, didn't he? He went in blank as the president. Second time round when he went in, he went with his plan. So you will be going with your plan and with the experience. And it'll be a very interesting consequence to see. Herman Mashaba is the president and founder of ActionSA and perhaps the mayoral candidate for Johannesburg. I'm Alec Hogg from biznews.com.